some people are into like skydiving and bungee jumping and all that, right? Well, we're diving into a different kind of high-stakes world today.
Yeah. Today's deep dive is all about the world of high-frequency trading and market making.
So buckle up. Whether you're a, seasoned trader or just curious about what goes on in those Wall Street skyscrapers, this is going to be fascinating.
Absolutely. We're going to break down how it all works, the good, the bad, and even well, let's just say interesting parts of this technology-driven world.
So imagine this. Algorithms making thousands of trades every second. I mean, we're talking faster than you can blink.
And they're taking advantage of these super tiny price differences to make a profit. That's high-frequency trading, HFT.
Right, HFT. And then you've got your market makers. Think of them like those vendors at a busy market, always ready to buy or sell.
Exactly. They ensure there's always a market for a stock, so you can always buy or sell.
And it's interesting how these two, HFT and market making, they're like a tightly wound... Symbiotic, that's the word. Market makers need the speed of HFT to keep up, and the HFT firms rely on those market makers to, well, actually make the market. It's a lot like a really fast-paced dance. But instead of fancy steps, it's all algorithms and split-second decisions. But hey, every good dance has its perks, right?
Yeah.
Benefits for everyone on the dance floor.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. Before HFT came along, if you wanted to buy a stock, you might be waiting around for ages for a seller at the right price.
And that could mean, what, bigger differences between the buy and sell prices?
Exactly. Wider spreads. But with HFT and active market making, boom. Trades happen almost instantly, smaller spreads, easier to buy and sell. It's a smoother experience for everyone.
It's like the difference between, I don't know, like a sleepy little town square versus a bustling market.
Yeah.
Tons of vendors, everyone competing, way more efficient.
Exactly. More competition, better for everyone in the market.
But, and there's always a but,
Yeah.
right? We've all heard those stories.
Yeah.
Algorithms crash in the markets, those flash crashes. Makes you think twice.
Yeah, of course. There's always a potential downside. All that automation, it can make things a bit, well, unpredictable.
It's like we're talking about like a financial supersonic jet, right?
Yeah.
Capable of amazing things, but also, if something goes wrong.
Yeah, it can get a little hairy.
A little hairy. So under the hood, what makes these HFT firms so incredibly fast? And how do they actually, use that speed to make money?
It all boils down to information. Getting it first, even if it's just a tiny fraction of a second ahead of everyone else.
So it's like having a sixth sense for where the market's going.
Kind of, yeah. One common strategy is called latency arbitrage. So imagine a stock, right? It's trading at, say, $100 in New York. But because of a teeny tiny delay in the data, it's still at $99.98 in Chicago.
Wait, so it's like the information is traveling slower than the speed of light or something?
Basically. And an HFT firm, they see that tiny difference. Buy a ton in Chicago, sell it in New York, boom, instant profit.
It's like they've found a glitch in the matrix or something. But it's not all about speed, right?
Right.
What about some of the more, let's say, creative strategies that some of these firms use?
Right. There are some tactics that are, well, let's just say they're not exactly straightforward.
A little shady, maybe.
Maybe a little. One example is this thing called, quote, stuffing. Imagine a giant stock exchange floor, right? And somebody just comes in and dumps a whole truckload of, I don't know, packing peanuts or something.
Chaos. Total chaos.
Exactly. It's all about disruption. And that's kind of what, quote, stuffing goes. They flood the market with all these orders, then immediately cancel them.
So they're basically messing with the whole system.
In a way, yeah. It creates confusion, maybe even influences the prices in their favor.
Talk about playing dirty. And what about that spoofing thing? I've heard that one too. Sounds sneaky.
Yeah, spoofing. That's like putting on a big show, but it's all fake. They place these huge orders, make it look like there's a ton of activity, but they never actually intend to go through with it.
So it's all about illusions and smoke and mirrors, huh? Feels like we've wandered into some kind of Wall Street magic show. But seriously, how can regulators even keep up with all this, let alone try to make sure it's a fair game?
I know, right? It's like now you see it, now you don't. $1 million here, 1 billion trades there. Poof, it's wild. But seriously, with all this happening at warp speed, how can regulators even begin to wrap their heads around it, let alone, lay down the law?
It's a tough job, no doubt. But hey, just like the HFT guys use fancy tech, regulators are getting in on the action too.
Oh yeah, fighting fire with fire. You could say that. There's this platform called quant, and it's pretty amazing. Imagine being able to see all the trades happening, every single order in real time, like a 3D map of the entire market.
So it's like a financial GPS. tracking everything.
Even better. It's like having X-ray vision into the market. MetaQuant can spot those fishy patterns, like, quote, stuffing or spoofing, things that might not be obvious otherwise.
So it's like the Sherlock Holmes of trading platforms, right? Sniffing out the bad guys.
Exactly. And it helps regulators connect the dots, figure out who's behind the shenanigans.
That's incredible. It's like maybe technology itself can be the answer to making the markets fairer, more transparent.
I think so. There's a big push now for using tech to make things better. Imagine, like, blockchain tech recording every single trade so nobody can hide anything, and AI keeping an eye on everything, making sure nobody's cheating.
Now that's a future I can get behind. We've only just scratched the surface today, but hopefully you've got a better idea now of what makes this world tick. All the algorithms, all that crazy speed.
It's definitely a wild ride, but knowledge is power, right? The more you know, the better off you'll be.
Exactly. So next time you hear about the markets going haywire, remember all this. Latency arbitrage, quote, stuffing, even MetaQuant. You'll sound like a total pro.
That's right. And hey, maybe this deep dive will inspire you to, learn even more. It's a fascinating world out there.
Absolutely. Keep asking questions, keep learning. Thanks for joining us today, everyone.